What's up, everyone? Chris here again. Glad to have you guys here, and I'm excited to go into today's video. So today's video, I really want to talk about the psychology behind why people click emails, right? I want to talk email, right? Not the boring stuff, but the one that makes you stop mid-scroll when you're on your phone, on your computer, you name it, and basically makes you say, hey, why am I opening this right now, right? We've all experienced it. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But basically, behind this or behind the click, it's all psychology, right? So let's go into it today. I'm gonna break it down and basically show you how your words can connect to people and also make them click on your email and hope to create better open rates and also better conversion rates later on, right? So first is first, curiosity is king, right? It's the goat of all email tactics. It's the one thing that you got to focus on when it comes to your subject line, and just try to ingrain this into your head and to your writing habits, right? Think about this. People don't like unanswered questions, right? It's just how our brains are wired, right? You open a loop, it needs to be closed, right? That's why curiosity-based subject lines work so damn well, and they're very effective. For example, I was going to share this, but X, Y, and Z, right? The one thing I wish I knew sooner was A, B, and C. I failed. Here's what happened next. I sent 100 cold emails. Here's what I learned. My ex taught me about sales. Yikes. I spent $4,000 to learn this the hard way. Yada, 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 right? This one word got me ghosted, but it got me paid as well, right? Basically, when it comes to curiosity or even your subject lines, you want to create tension. You want to invite them in. You want to intrigue them. And you basically want their brain to say, what's going on here? You know, what's happening? What did they learn, right? Especially if it's someone that you've been following, you're going to be more curious and more interested of, okay, what's the lesson behind this, right? So basically, try to aim for that intrigue, for that connection, for that curiosity, have it click with them, and then basically you'll get an open, right? So ask yourself, does my subject line spark a question? Does it spark curiosity to them? And also, does it answer this? Would I be annoyed if I didn't find out what's inside, right? So try to digest that, try to use it in your next emails and see how it goes, right? The next part is making it about them, right? Here's the harsh truth is most people don't really care about your newsletter, right? They're kind of in it for, maybe they're trying to get discounts, they're trying to learn maybe a lesson or two here, but what's most important for you as the writer, for us as the writer, is always asking what's in it for them, right? How can you answer this question and create content around this that makes them want to open it and also continue to read it, right? But yeah, so basically going into it more, ask yourself, when you're writing, put yourself in their shoes and ask yourself, why should I care, right? Or more so, what I love saying and what a lot of people say is, what's in it for me, right? Use that as your guiding light. Frame your emails around that question. And when you're writing sentence per sentence, paragraph per paragraph, however you're writing it, try to keep that question in mind, right? And also have it connect with your subject line, right? So anyway, for example, let's go into the subject line aspect, right? Instead of writing something like what I did this weekend or here's my story, try reframing it to focus on the reader, right? So basically, 3 things I learned this weekend to help you write better copy. See how different it is from this one? You're being more specific, you're painting a picture, you're kind of, giving them why they should try to open it, right? The mindset shift that finally helped me land clients and how it can help you too, right? Very different from here's my story, right? It's basically the same message, right? Just different angles, right? Now, it's not just your story, but it's their solution as well. So make your emails about them, their pain points, their goals, their journey, and always keep that question in mind. What's in it for me, or why should I care, right? And if your emails don't evolve around that or answer that question, most likely they will get skipped or they'll get read and then skip later on, basically. So this moves on to my next point. I brought it up briefly onto these ones, right? But it's the power of being specific, right? You don't want to be vague, right? As we know, vague gets ignored. being specific is really what makes people click, right? With the subject line, but also just with the content itself, right? It helps build trust. It makes your promise feel more tangible. And the most important thing, I think, is this one. It paints a picture with your words, right? Just how I brought this up over here, right? These ones, let's connect to this one too, right? When you just say, let's talk marketing, right? What does that mean, right? Email marketing, I don't know, ads, copywriting, you name it, right? It could be so many different things, right? Being more specific, saying, how this 4-word headline made 26,000 in 48 hours. Now you're starting to paint a picture, right? Okay, 4-word headline. Okay, I see that. Made $26,000. Okay, that's interesting. And it made it in 48 hours. Okay, now you're starting to paint a picture of the whole story of what's going on, and therefore intriguing them, but also sparking that curiosity as well, right? Other examples that I have right here is, the $87 email that made me $8,200, right? Seven subject lines that made me $7,122 in 14 days. This weird 3-step intro boosted my open rates by 44%, right? Using numbers, using time frames, using outcomes, using stats, right? The more specific, the more compelling you can be. So keep this in mind when it's your subject line, but also within your copy of your body text, the paragraphs that you're writing in your email, or even in your landing pages as well, right? Always try to paint that picture. It's super valuable. It connects with the reader, and you want to make sure that they can visualize what you're saying, right? But yeah, keep that in mind. The next one is urgency and FOMO, right? I feel like a lot of us maybe do feel and experience FOMO from a lot of emails. I know for myself, right, there's emails sometimes I go and I can feel it right away, right? Even if it's something I don't even want, right? That's just, I think, great writing in general, right? And the reality is no one really wants to miss out. So with your writing, if you can create that, that's awesome, right? So in relation to subject lines, right, it's basically just phrasing it and using it in a way that encourages people to, well, continue to spark that curiosity, right? But then also evoking these emotions, right? So last chance, this disappears tonight, right? Or 5 hours left, and yes, I'm watching the clock, right? Or only doing this for 3 more people. Do you want it, right? You'll hate yourself if you miss this. Some of these could be better, right? You'll see it also within the body text of the email. You'll see a lot of it like on the PS ending of the email, or even within towards the end. Sometimes they just say, hey, I have 5 spots left. This thing ends in 12 hours, and make sure you get in so that you can actually get your, 10% off, 20% off, right? Or they try to make it a little bit more sweeter too, of saying like, if you're joining now, I'll give you bonus 1, bonus 2, bonus 3, but it's only for the first like 2 or 3 people, right? So you're creating that urgency. You're creating kind of that FOMO of, hey, if I don't take advantage of this like special, right, or this opportunity, I'm going to miss out on it, and I won't be able to, if they do great writing, maybe not be able to succeed without it, right? So always try to keep this in mind also when it comes with your subject line, right? Obviously, it depends on the type of email that you're writing, right? If every single email is like FOMO and urgency, it might turn off your audience, right? That's why it's always sorry. In one of my last videos, I talked about you don't always want to be writing like sales emails, right? Obviously, when it comes to promotion and sales emails for certain things, this is the type of emotions that you want to use, right? But anyway, on to the next one. Familiarity builds trust, right? People click not because of the subject line, right? But most so because they trust you, right? But it does connect with the subject line and also the content within the email or your piece of writing, right? More so the email, right? And what I mean by this is basically if you're able to deliver value, show up, and actually show your worth in a way, right? People are going to enjoy you. People are going to enjoy reading you. People are going to take your advice, and at the end of the day, they're going to trust you, right? And value you, and also see you as this authority, right? So that's why it's important to build trust And sometimes you don't want to be, it's a fine balance, right? You don't want to be super scammy in terms of your subject lines and always just trying to go for the click, right? But you want to be honest, you want to be authentic, and still try to integrate these components into it, if that makes sense, right? Sounds like I'm kind of contradicting myself, but it's a fine balance, right? I wish I could try to explain some more ideas or more examples, but um, if I was constantly sending emails of just trying to get the click, but then the value within the email was just straight garbage and it's just like generic shit, most likely people won't be opening in the future, right? They're gonna be like, this is just clickbait, right? Same thing that you see on maybe on YouTube, right? You see everybody with the thumbnails just doing clickbait, and you click on the video and it's just the most random thing ever, and you're like, what's going on, right? So always try to make sure everything connects. There's a purpose behind it, and the most important thing too, you're providing that value for them. So, yeah, I have examples here of like what subject lines could be like, right? You can take a look, you can read them. But most importantly, like I said, always try to focus on giving value coming from the space of being there to help them out, but also help out their problems and be the solution to it in a way, but also showcase saying, hey, I know your solution, the solution that you need, and these are the ways that you can do to overcome your problems, right? And just make sure that you showcase that, hey, I'm that bridge. I'm that person that could help you out. I'm that person that can hold that conversation with you, and I can deliver those results for you, right? Or my product can deliver those results for you, et cetera, right? But yeah, that's basically it for this video. So just a quick recap, right? If you want people to open up your emails more and also just click on them, but also the most important, build that trust and just build that connection with them too. Try to focus on everything we went over, right? Spark the curiosity, right? Make it about them. Ask that question, what's in it for me, right? Why should I care? And make sure it connects with them, right? Be specific in what you're talking about. Paint that picture visually for them, right? So you're not vague, you're not boring, right? Tap into that urgency when it's necessary, not every single time, but when it's necessary. But most importantly, try to build that trust with them, right? Building that trust is one of the hardest things to do, but also just like in life, right? It's hard to build trust with people, but it's also very easy to lose it, right? So no need to be fancy, right? Just try to connect with people, right? I would take this note. When you're asking yourself, why should I care? Also, when you're trying to connect with people, your writing style, the way you type, the way you're trying to communicate, try to picture yourself that you're at like a bar, right? Or you're at some event with friends, right? With a good friend, your best friend, and you're just shooting the shit, just having a conversation, right? Right, like that. Have that conversation. Be specific. Just get crazy with it, right? And try to include everything that I just talked about, right? So anyway, I know this is probably around like 13 minutes, 14 minutes. Hope you enjoyed some of the information, some of the tips. And yeah, like always, hit subscribe, drop a like, comment with any questions that you have. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.